Thank you so much for talking to me, Shabana. You're looking lovely.
Thank you.
So I was going over your filmography over the last 5 decades. This is your 50th year in cinema. How incredible. So is it 140 films and 10 plays?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
My goodness. And
The moment I say 140, then touch wood, the 41st one comes. So I hope there'll be many more.
I don't think there's a dearth of work coming your way, honestly. And in fact, you are pretty much the only actor or actress of your generation that has not just lasted, you're still relevant, you're still in the top films, you still get so many offers for events and talking events and all of that. Why do you think that is? Why are you the only actor of your generation?
No, I wouldn't say I'm the only actor. I mean, Amitabh Bachchan is much older than me. But
let's
just
say
look at,
actress. I'd say actress of your generation.
So the thing is, when I compare myself with any of the international actors, then I'm only one of the many. The thing in India, for a very long time, your career as a female lead got over by the time you were 30. By the time you were 36, it was almost impossible that you would still be doing the glamorous running around the trees roles. But that's also changed now. I'm very happy that there are young actresses who have changed that equation, have got married, have had kids, and yet have very successfully come back. So I think there's some change that is happening, which is a very welcome change. But earlier, I think that if you would concentrate on a career that was largely only based on your looks and your youth, then perforce it will become a shorter span. And then the minute you grew older, then for some time you didn't have any work. And then it was the mother, the suffering mother, the understanding wife, etc. All of that. In fact, I remember Achla Saddev many years ago telling me that I just can't do any more work. So I said, but you keep getting so much work. And she said, I cannot have another thali put in my hand and say, nahi, and put my arm. And that's not what I'm going to do at all. That has mercifully changed. And I really think it's a long shot to say that. But I think the women's movement all over the world is changing the equation of where women are at and where they should stand. And slowly and steadily, that is also, tripping into our films. But I think an actor of my kind, and I keep telling that to Anil Kapoor also, that, if you already expand your career when you are playing the female lead, and you do roles that are substantial, that are not just based on how you look, but how you invest a role with meat, more than that. But you see, also that depends a lot on the directors and the writers. And for that, I would really credit, A. Shyam Benegal.
Yes.
Because he is the one single-handedly who changed the portrayal of women.
But you also had guts. Because your first role with him in the 70s, I mean, it was a film for which you got a national award. It was a gutsy role.
To
launch your career with.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people did advise me against it. But remember that I was a trained actress from the Film Institute, and I had been exposed to amazing work from all over the world. So I had Swedish cinema, I had Norwegian cinema, I had Japanese cinema, French, all of that. So my horizon had already expanded. And I used to, in fact, I still adore Liv Ullmann and any of Ingmar Bergman's actors. And I used to be fascinated by the depth of what they would achieve, none of which was even expected of us in mainstream Hindi cinema. And so that's why my horizon was different. Then remember that I'm Kaifi Azmi and
I was just going to say that.
Daughter. So I had been exposed to a different kind of
intellectual sort of medium of expression.
Yeah. Intellectual and also
Deep.
very deep, and are also very rooted in the ground. When normally you look at intellectuals, you think that, all right, they are there to use their mind, but these were both workers. These were both doers. So Kefi Azmi was a member of the Communist Party, and he used to go out and he used to work with, with laborers, construction laborers and shoemakers and all kinds of things. And that was something that he took back with him, not just intellectually, but actually. And my mother, Shaukat Kefi, was the kind of person who really took up very challenging roles in theatre and mercifully was very successful at them. So that kind of background and the fact that I was exposed as a young child to just the best in Indian poetry and film and music and all of that. I mean, I don't think I was conscious of it that time, but it was all subliminally coming in
As it
somewhere.
happens when we...
Yeah, so
grow
I
up and
remember
suddenly-
to go back to Ankur, people said, oh my God, firstly, she's much older than you are, because Sham had envisaged an older person, and then he'd got so tired of looking for actors who thought the shades were too much for them to handle. And particularly that Lakshmi at one point is seen stealing rice from her master and hiding it and going away. And people said, but that is a vampish thing to do. And I thought, that's what made her so human.
Yeah.
That's what made her so real. And I said, no, this is what I want to do. And kudos to my parents that they never stopped me from doing it. Of course, I wasn't prepared for the kind of reception it would have, both nationally, internationally, and also commercial success. So I think it was because of that. And I do believe that had I not started my career with Sham Benegal, my film trajectory would have been completely different. Because see, if I tried to start with a film like Fakira, which I did in the beginning, I was very bad at it.
I don't think there's a single role you would be bad at.
I was absolutely terrible. I was awkward. I was not comfortable with it. I was conscious of the fact that I'm a Xavierite and what am I doing running around trees and all that. And I struggled with that for a long time. But I was just very lucky that I had Ankur, which became, such a huge success, and then followed up by Fakira, which was a huge success in spite of me, not because of me. Only now, after so many years, I think that we have started realizing that content is king.
Yeah.
It took a very long time coming. But because of that, there are films being made where the subjects are different. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. But women are getting a much greater variety of roles than they were ever getting. So in that sense, I think it's a very good time, particularly for actors, and also a time for many more women writers emerging.
Right.
Not because I believe that all women writers should make only feminist films. I do believe that they should have the choice to make any kind of film. They can make a humorous film, they can make a thriller, they can make a romantic. It's not incumbent on them that they must only make. But what I would hope is their gaze would be feminine.
Yes.
Because for far too long, everything has been seen and expressed from the male point of view. And certainly there are differences in the way, I'm not saying better, not worse, but definitely different. And I think that difference needs to be celebrated and that difference needs to be seen. And that's why I feel much happier that there are so many women writers now. And you won't believe it, the number of female crew we have today. It's unbelievable. They are sometimes more than men. This was something when we first started, there was no such thing as perhaps just the costume person. And now they're in every department and they're being respected for their work. And that is a very happy situation.
What would you say Okay, your top 3 favorite directors and your top 3 favorite actors that you've worked with. Could be recent, could be older.
See, actors is much easier because I think that without doubt it would be Nasiruddin Shah for me. And I'm not talking about Robert De Niro and people from abroad whom I have, Marlon Brando, for instance, and all that. We're talking about that. I'm talking about Indian actors, but Nasiruddin Shah is an absolute delight to work with because, see, acting is about reacting.
Yes.
And if you look into your co-star's eyes and that person is telling the truth, it becomes so much easier for you to react. But if there's nothing there and you have to create it, you have to work so much harder. I have also worked with Om Puri, whom I enjoyed very much. He was a lovely person, Farooq Sheikh. But if I look at my, from the mainstream cinema, Amitabh Bachchan is absolutely in another league altogether. I used to love working with Shashi Kapoor, although he used to just bully me all the time. But I used to love working with him, and I made a very good pair with Vinod Khanna.
And Rajesh.
And Rajesh Khanna, of course. And Rajesh Khanna, for some reason, took a liking to me, and he shared some very delightful stories with me, which I know this is out of this, but I'd like to share it
Of
with you.
course.
We were doing a lot of work together, okay? And he came with his foot bandage. So a journalist had come to meet him and she said, "So what happened to you?" So he said, "Well, I was doing a horse riding scene and I fell off and I hurt my foot." So I told him, "But you were shooting with me yesterday. Give me one kick under the table." So I kept quiet. And she said, "Oh my God." So he said, "We have to do this as actors and all that." And then when she went away, she said, "तुमको राजा हरिश्चंद्र बनने की क्या जरूरत है?" तो मैंने तो simple question. He said, "लुंगी में फंस गया था मेरे पाँव and मैं गिर गया. अब मैं हीरो हूँ, उसको ये बताऊंगा, ये कहानी, if I make up, what goes of yours?" So it was that kind of lovely, warm relationship, although he was not known for that a lot. I mean, I don't know, but it worked well with him.
He felt comfortable with it.
Yeah, he was.
So, speaking of bandaged, I mean, I know you've gone to complete schedules in Budapest for a foreign project. You've gone
Halo.
Halo. You've gone with fractures to complete projects, illnesses, all these kind of things. So, you carry your age so lightly. I think the attitude is, okay, don't indulge for John. But, I mean, these are very real issues that you travel with and go with. Like, what is the attitude that you have? What keeps you this way?
No, but remember that I'm my mother's daughter. And there was one extreme circumstance that I had to go under. And I had broken my foot. And I thought it was a sprain. And so I couldn't even walk. And my mother said, "Bete, our ethos is that the show must go on.
Yeah.
And how can you cancel the show?" So I said, "The whole play is only me walking all the time. It's a 1-hour play. It's going to be very tough." So she called the doctor. He gave me a Wolfram injection. And then after that, as I was going for the play, I got another Wolfram injection. I did the entire play on my foot. And the next day, it turned out to be a fracture. And I had to put my the bandage for the next 6 weeks. So that is an extreme kind of situation. But I think this a lot of actors do. I mean, it's not me.
Not of your age.
Let me tell you, not of my age.
This is my point.
Maybe point.
That even at this point in your life, it's a show must go on attitude and sort of not indulging in not indulging, I would say, but not wallowing on any level or giving time to any weakness that you might be experiencing at that point. It's like pack and go.
No, but you
have to do something. You have to do it.
You have to do it. You have to be mindful that there's a whole crew waiting for you.
Yeah.
And that, you push yourself, but you can't cancel the work. It's really not fair. And you talked about earlier about my age, and let me tell you, I am very happy to embrace my age. I make absolutely no attempt to look younger than I am. And I don't grumble about my age, and I don't run after every line that I have, because I think the whole beauty of age is not fighting it, but accepting it gracefully. Like the other day, I was asked this question: how do you feel that all the young people are getting the main parts? So I said, but it's the cycle of life.
Yeah.
And I don't grudge them that at all. I mean, it would be stupid to do it.
Yeah.
So if I'm lucky, like I am, that I have been getting roles my age, which are substantial and which are important to the storyline, that's more than enough, surely.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very silly question to have asked. I mean, this is the cycle of cinema, of life, of corporate,
Everywhere.
of the world. So, but certainly you seem like you're in your prime at every age, whether it's your 20s or 40s or 60s or 70s. I mean, touch wood, really, you are in your prime at every age and enjoying it. Share some secrets about that.
If you think that I'm going to say, I really work on my body, if you think I'm going to say, I really work on my face, it's nothing. I'm a hog. I eat whatever I want, and I don't look after myself. I'm just lucky that I've got good genes.
Yeah.
And then if I have to do a role, then I become really sick. Now, these 10 kilos that I've lost is not because I was feeling I'm very fat, but I had to do it for a film. So I do it for a film. If there's something that I have to do for a project, then I do it.
Yeah.
And then go back to being myself. But of course, there is some sense in being healthy, in looking after yourself, because, an actor is her own instrument. She can only use herself, her mind, her experience, her body, her voice.
Yeah.
So for that, you have to be in a state of preparedness where it is not your not your health that deters you from doing. So of course you have a responsibility, because see, the whole point of acting is that you are your own instrument. And so that's why I feel to experience life in the fullest is the biggest advice I can give. Because see, if you're talking about a great musician, the musician's expertise plus the condition of the instrument, both will lead to something, but an actor has only herself.
Absolutely. And you also, I mean, look, there's a lot of physicality in your profession. There's travel, there's being on a set for hours, a lot of physicality, unlike a lot of other professions. And you're keeping up with it very well, touch wood.
I'm not even conscious of it.
Which is amazing. And I think that's what really helps.
I'm not even conscious of it. It's something that I need to do, and I do it.
Yeah. You also, what is your schedule like on average? I know, of course, it's always different because this is a profession where you're doing different things. But is your day very full?
It's very full. It's very, very full. And I crib about it. And I always say that, I'm on a roller coaster. I have to get off it and all that. And for 2-3 days, I'm doing nothing. I'm saying, wow, what is happening here? And then I fill myself. Javed keeps complaining that I don't have the ability to sit still.
Yeah.
कुछ नहीं तो मैं अपने cupboard साफ करने लगूंगी. But that is something I enjoy doing, because these are things that I really have to sacrifice a great deal. So my cupboards are lying in a terrible state, and I keep saying, oh my God, when can I put them in order and all that? वो कभी खत्म नहीं होता है. I have very, very packed days. I have like really crazily packed days. Now, after a very long time, I had 15 days when I was not shooting, because the last year has been crazy. I've been working every single day. I was doing 4 projects at the same time. And before I knew it, it was all full. Because see, there are all other things that I do. No? I attend conferences, I go to NGOs, I work in my own NGO. All this is important to me. It's not extraneous
Right.
work. And so, and that keeps me going.
And you also carry your stardom quite lightly. I mean, I think you're aware when you walk into a room that you are a star and you have a certain sort of, bearing on that room. However, I feel like you carry it without much fuss. And you actually use it very well. You use it to uplift women. You use it for Mijwan. So I think for you, that stardom doesn't take over your personality.
Stardom is very ephemeral. I don't think stardom is something that you can um, cling on to all your life, because stardom is an offshoot of the work that you do. You don't work to be a star. That's a bonus that happens. And the fact is that stardom lasts as long as you are relevant. And it's not, I'm not even conscious of it, that it's my stardom that is making me, I'm in a group of people who've never been with celebrities, etc. But like amongst my friends, okay? So they're used to seeing me in all terrible states and all that. And one of them just remarked, "You're looking like a star today." And the other said, "But she is one." So they say, "Oh God, we have to remember this." But really, I'm not conscious of my stardom at all. I, basically, I'm not interested in talking about myself all the time. I'm interested in people. So if I enter a room with diverse people, I'm really interested in what they're doing because I want to learn. And if I don't know, for instance, if I medicine, I'm interested in medicine, and so I'll ask all kinds of questions. If I meet somebody who's working with women's rights, I'm very interested and curious with politics. I'm interested in that. I am interested in how women run their houses. I'm interested in how they keep their cupboards. I'm interested in human beings. And I think that comes not very consciously, but I think an actor's resource base must be life itself. You have to get life experiences to become the person that you need to inhabit the world of a character you're not familiar with at all. And then after you've played the character, some of the residue of that gets left behind in you. So I find acting an extremely rewarding and enriching experience. What happens in the process of stardom, and that's why I'm a little wary of the
word stardom itself.
Firstly, I don't consider myself a big star or anything, but the bigger the star, the less the star is able to communicate with life, because they get surrounded by 8 people who will not let you even approach them. So if you have concentric circles of 8 people before they reach you, then it means that you meet the same people. You work with the same people. You go out with the same people. And so your world will only be governed by magazines, by Insta, and by what you see. That's taking you away from the world. And I think that in any profession is a dangerous thing.
I'm sure when you've worked with actors like Alia or the younger lot of actors, I'm sure they must have come to you for some sort of guidance, mentorship. I mean, they all must be in awe of you on a set.
It happens when I enter a set, but I'm very proud of the fact that very soon I'm able to put them at ease. And in fact, I get along extremely well with my younger co-stars. And we carry that friendship much beyond the film. And really, for me, it's very important that I'm comfortable with my co-stars. And so at some level, I am able to connect with them very well. And I'm very proud of that.
So you are an actor. You lectured universities. I know you're invited quite often. You're an activist, always have been. You've participated in so many rallies, supported slum dwellers. You have your incredible NGO, Mijwan, and that incredible fashion show that takes place with Manish. So you've brought Mijwan, onto the map, really, changed the lives of these girls. You have a successful husband. You run a home. How do you manage all of this? And also, you support your friends. You show up for people. You're very good at that. You manage all of this in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. How are your priorities now changing towards life? Do you get to spend time with family? How do you look at your life now?
There was a time when I struggled with it a great deal. I was very conscious of the fact that I was working 24 hours and that my friends had to make all the adjustments for me. That anything that we decided together was always dependent on whether I would be available, and at the last minute I would let them down. That used to trouble me. And I really believe as we are growing older, we have to nurture our relationships. My friends are also going older, and we need to support each other. So I make a special effort to see that I am with them. I have an excellent partner, Javed, who really he makes absolutely no demands of me. I enjoy being with him. I enjoy his company. But I know that he completely respects my freedom to do things which are just the girl gang and stuff like that. And I enjoy it. I enjoy being with my girl friends. And it's natural that when I'm in trouble, they all come and rally around me. And when they are in trouble, I rally around them. But I do think that relationships are important. And if you don't nurture them, then they wither away. But there was a time, like I told you, I was very conscious that I didn't have time. And one day, I was going for my shooting, and I just sat down and started crying. This is much earlier.
Yeah.
So Javed said, "What's with you?" And he said, "I have been trying to change those curtains for the last 6 months, and I don't have the time." So he said, "So what's the big deal? You delegate it to somebody else." I said, "No, I want to do it myself." So, because my mother was a working woman and she was also a very good housekeeper, she was also very said, "But she was not as busy as you are. You're really very busy. And if you try and be a superwoman, it's not going to work. You have to try and prioritize." And that was like the penny dropped. And I said, "Yes, that's true. I have to prioritize my work. It cannot be a constant because the priorities change. The priorities change. But the thing is that you have to decide that this is the most important thing of the day." I think the trouble with women is particularly successful women. At one point, we become almost guilty about being successful. And we say, no, but we are actually homemakers, which is all nonsense,
Yeah.
I mean, of course you take pride in the fact that it's your career which is successful, because finally a woman gets her identity from her work, just as traditionally a man did. Earlier, what happened is a man identified himself with his work and a woman through her relationships. Was she a good wife? Was she a good mother? Was she a good parent? All of that, all of those things are important. But ultimately, you have to get actual sustenance from your work, and mercifully, the equations between the man and woman are changing. The newer generation don't expect the women to do all the work. They're also sharing. And that is something I think society needs to build. That in the things that are the most boring for you, your partner must also participate in it. It can't be that you're a working woman and your partner's a working woman or is a working man, but if a child is ill, only the man
Right.
will go to work and you will stay at home. No, I don't think so. So women have to break away from this mold that makes them feel guilty if they want to get on with their work. I think so.
Lastly, give me one adjective that you can think of to describe yourself at this age, at this stage of your life.
She tries. I'm not afraid of failure. A long time ago, I freed myself from failure. And so if you fail, but you tried. You can't say that, no, I won't do it because I'll fail. She tried.
And let me tell you, she succeeded. Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.